Hello, so this is the video you've all been waiting for. I'm actually going to be sharing some more information about my course today. I've got my mic in hand in case the sound quality isn't as good. Again, I've just tested it and it should be much better, but I'm going to keep my mic here. And I want to start off by saying, who is this course for? Answering that question. So it's really for people with night eating syndrome. And broadly, I'm going to define it as people who wake up in the middle of the night, usually 1 or 2 hours after they go to sleep, with an urge to eat, meaning they feel like a sense of urgency, anxiety even, hunger in the middle of the night, and that can only be quelled or stopped by going to eat. Oftentimes people feel like they need to eat in order to get back to sleep, otherwise they won't go back to sleep. People might eat, usually it's upwards of 500 calories. Sometimes it's less if they've, had some extent of recovery already. But it can even be much, much more, like 1,000 calories, 2,000 calories. And it can typically happen 1 to 3 times a night, sometimes even more than that. Sometimes night eaters also eat the majority of their calories after dinner, but the most typical pattern for night eaters is that they wake up with an urge to eat. So if that's you, you really want to listen to this. If that is not you, I suggest you spend your time doing something else. So I've got some notes here, so I'll be looking down a little bit to sort of keep on track with this video and make it as short as possible for you. I briefly want to tell you a little bit about myself because I niched down into this very sort of niche market of eating disorders because I suffered from night eating syndrome for about 9 years. And it was always my desire to overcome it and be able to help other people do the same. And so when I finally did overcome it, I was very glad to be able to figure out and find out the tools and techniques that are necessary to help other people. So I developed specific and unique strategies to help not just myself, but to help others overcome night eating syndrome. I ran a couple of group courses in the past, piloted my strategies, and have since successfully coached one-on-one clients for a few years now. And basically my course, my program, my methodology is based on my own experience in part, but also on my experience with working with clients, as well as my education as a functional medicine health coach. I've done a health coaching certification, as well as courses in the field of functional medicine. And if you want to ask me more about that, you can look on my website, or I'd be happy to send you more information on that as well. So, but I don't want to talk about myself too much because that's boring. I just wanted to give you some of the patterns that I fell into as a night eater, and that many of my clients fall into as night eaters as well. So oftentimes as night eaters, we restrict our daytime calories. We often skip breakfast, maybe fast into the day, do like intermittent fasting, and we eat later in the day. We oftentimes over-exercise, try to get a certain number of steps in every day, or spend copious amounts of time in the gym. Oftentimes we restrict the type of food that we eat during the day, so we are counting calories, tracking food, or trying to avoid certain foods that we feel like will affect our bodies. Our colleagues and friends often think we're super healthy eaters because we will always choose the salad and the healthy option when we're eating out, when in reality, they don't know what's going on at night. So really, they don't know the full picture of what is going on with our food and our diet. Usually, we have an intense desire to lose weight, but we never see results with our workout programs or with any diet plans that we're on because the night eating keeps sabotaging, or we keep sabotaging ourselves with night eating. People with night eating syndrome wake up every morning feeling bloated, fatigued, frustrated, often anxious and depressed because of what they've done in the night before, and they oftentimes don't feel like they have enough willpower. They feel frustrated at themselves and their own lack of progress. Oftentimes people will promise to themselves that they will stop night eating tonight, but without the right tools, they will never get to that goal. I remember myself, I used to set a New Year's resolution each year for about 9 years. I don't think it was quite 9 years, but it was maybe 8 or 7 years to stop night eating that year, and it would just continue every single night. I didn't have the tools to overcome night eating. I didn't know what I needed to do. I didn't really understand night eating. So the course that I am going to launch is going to change that. You are going to find freedom from night eating syndrome and finally wake up energized and happy in the morning, be able to share that happy mood with your family, ready for breakfast and ready to start your day and invest in better things than thinking about how bloated you are or how uncomfortable you feel in your own body. And I just want to say at this point, night eating syndrome is not a life sentence. It is definitely possible to overcome it if you've had it for 5 years, for 10 years, 20 years or more. I've had clients overcome night eating syndrome who have had it for 20 plus years, as well as those who've had it for shorter than that. And really, there are more similarities between night eaters and their habits and patterns than there are differences. So you really are not alone, and you've come to a place where there's a lot of understanding of the topic as well as compassion from a personal experience standpoint. So a lot of people tell me that they've tried everything and nothing worked. They've been to therapists, nutritionists, doctors, sleep doctors, but nothing has worked for them. So what makes my coaching and ultimately my Finding Freedom from Night Eating Syndrome course different is, first of all, that I have been there and I know what it feels like. I can empathize, I have compassion towards you, and I have found freedom, complete freedom for several years now. And I have managed to help other people find that same freedom. So my course is really different because I know what it feels like and I can guide you to the solution using the tools that I have developed through, as I said, my experience, my work with clients, my education. And that ultimately is my goal for you, to find freedom as well. And we'll go through a little bit of what the course entails in just a moment. But I just wanted to say that you may have sought help elsewhere, just as I did. I went to eating disorder specialists, 2 different ones. I went to nutritionists, I went to a counselor, I went to doctors, I went to a sleep doctor, and none of them really understood night eating syndrome like I do, and none of them really had the tools for me to be able to help me overcome it. The tools that were often used were actually to try and tackle binge eating syndrome or binge eating disorder, which is very different from night eating syndrome. And so they were never effective for me, as I'm sure many of you will have experienced as well. So don't give up hope. You've not tried everything. You've not tried everything until you've tried me, until you've tried this course. And ultimately, the aim of this course is to get you to a position where you wake up feeling happy that you are not night eating, where you can have breakfast with your family or maybe have a brunch or breakfast date with your friends without feeling guilty about eating extra calories, where you can finally feel happy and not have that low mood hanging over you or that depression, anxiety over your night eating, and where you feel happy in your own skin, meaning that you are no longer super focused on weight loss or weight gain because you have reached a natural set point of weight, you've reached your ideal weight, and you can maintain it effortlessly without trying too hard through calorie counting, weighing, measuring, tracking your calories. So let's get into more of the nitty-gritty of the course. So it's a self-paced course. It has about 12 modules. You'll get lifetime access, meaning that you can go through the course as many times as you want. There'll be some live Q&As along the way. And in terms of the topics, let's talk about the topics. So I will teach you the origins and causes of night eating syndrome. And a lot of my clients find that really, really helpful because they feel like they finally know what is starting and causing and keeping in place their night eating syndrome. We will talk about hormonal imbalances, the imbalances in your hunger and fullness hormones, imbalances in your circadian and cortisol rhythms, blood sugar balance, nutritional coaching, how to actually eat with night eating syndrome, because I see a lot of people who have diet plans from their nutritionist, but the nutritionist is kind of just stabbing in the dark with that diet plan. And I will actually give you a meal plan that will help you manage your night eating syndrome, and I will teach you how to eat in order to not night eat. How to rewire your brain using nutrition and more. Rewiring your circadian rhythm, identifying mindsets and shifting them, negative mindset, negative beliefs that are holding you back, limiting beliefs, stress management tools and techniques, balancing your cortisol levels, and we'll talk about sleep and insomnia, as that can sometimes be related as well. We'll talk about guided intuitive eating. So that is my version of intuitive eating that is different from normal intuitive eating, and it's very much applicable to night eating syndrome, but it doesn't really apply completely to other forms of eating disorders. So guided intuitive eating, mindful eating, we'll talk about exercise, and much, much more. I will also, with the course, give you a companion workbook, and there's going to be a couple of freebies thrown in to the course as well. So that is really like a really quick summary of what I'm offering in the course, and my plan is at some point to have an info webinar. This is obviously like really, really short, but I just want you to finally imagine what it would be, what it would feel like to be free from night eating. Would it feel freeing? Would it feel calming? Would it feel incredible? What would it feel like to wake up every morning and to be able to eat breakfast with your family, your spouse, with your friends, with your colleagues? What would it feel like to actually be done with dinner and not snack at night? What would it feel like to have a refreshing night's sleep? Imagine that you could just fit into those pants that you fit in 5 years ago. Imagine that weight loss would be effortless and that you could reach a natural set point weight. Imagine that you didn't have to count calories and track your food. So that's all of the things that I want you to imagine as you think about signing up to the wait list for this course launching. I've got loads of people signed up already, which is awesome. And as I said, I will offer up the early bird discounts. There's a limited number of early bird discounts that I'll only offer to my email list before I make the offering available to the wider public, so my other outlets. And so if you want to be part of that, if you want to know more, if you want to get hold of that early bird discount, please, please, please send me your email in the DMs, and I will add you to the waiting list. And in the next couple of days, I will send out some more information about the course and as well as pricing. So then you can sign up. I'll tell you when the sign up is officially open. Anyway, I look forward to receiving your emails, look forward to interacting. If you have any questions, please do DM me or leave me a comment below, and we can take things from there. Hopefully this was helpful, and we'll see each other soon.